seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, there seems to be a lack of empathy on the on both sides on the situation. It seems that only a little over 60 years ago, it was the Jewish diaspora was getting displaced everywhere, and you know, fast forward to now, they are doing the same thing that was happening to them, you know, about more than half a century ago. And my proposal is like this. Previously, you said that the Israelis are unwilling to give up Judea and Samaria, which are the heart of the biblical events. Now, what about the south part? Let's see. How about we take all of the land south of the Dead Sea, right, which is still less than 60% of Israeli land. No, a little bit further, down or up? Little bit down.
Down, like this?
Yes. Yes.
This is the only fertile part of the Negev here.
Yeah.
So you're bringing me down below the fertile part. Okay.
Well, that's all desert. What about if we are so unwilling, if the Israelis are so unwilling to give the West Bank and Gaza to the Palestinians, how about we give them the desert? We give them that land. Hey, it's still what, 30-something% of Israeli land, right? Why don't we give it to them?
Because what would they do with it?
It's also a lot.
It's pretty. I mean, there are resources in the desert, but you couldn't support. You know, you talk about, well, it's a nice idea on paper. But you know, you're talking about people. I mean, people own homes, they own their land. I mean, yeah, people aren't pawn pieces that you can say, well, go, you know, go live here, go live there. I mean, they have, you know, it's their country. You can't just tell people in California they got to go live in Utah.
Well, it's a sort of it's a sort of point I wanted to make.
Okay, but it's a good point, and one of the ideas is territorial swap. That's true, and one of the proposals is, but it doesn't really work. One proposal is to give the Palestinians a piece of Egypt. I mean, that's a good deal, right? So to give them a piece of Egypt, you know, because Israel says, hey, Egypt has to contribute to this too. So to give them a piece of the northern Sinai here, and the idea then would be to elongate and enlarge Gaza, which is tremendously overcrowded. In return, Egypt would get, it's hard to see in this map, Egypt would get a passage, from an extraterritorial passage from Egypt to Jordan here. As if Egypt hasn't existed for 10,000 years without an extraterritorial passage, but that would be this kind of a thing. And then the idea is that Israel would then keep its settlement blocks. In other words, Egypt would give the Palestinians exactly the amount of land in Sinai that Israel takes in its settlement blocks. So in a sense, this whole territorial swap thing is also trying to push on to other groups. I mean, Israel is trying to do everything to avoid biting the bullet, even with this two-state solution that isn't very viable.